In this episode, we are featuring the latest industry insights collated by Statista on mobile app usage, revenue, and platform distribution. Welcome to Today in News Tech, our weekly extended chat where we discuss the past week of news and break down what we can learn to help our local newspaper publishers at Our Hometown Inc.
The case for native news apps on mobile. This episode of Today in News Tech is made possible with audio articles by ourhometown.com. In this episode, we are featuring the latest industry insights collated by Statista on mobile app usage, revenue, and platform distribution. Details include user engagement and retention monetization methods, and segmentation between iOS and Android platforms. Mobile internet is in a peak state of growth. Developers are responding to shifting technological demands, and the rate of mobile consumption has reached unprecedented levels. This, combined with the ever-increasing portability of smart devices, has led to on-the-go connectivity emerging as the new norm, according to Statista. Here are a few of the big takeaways. Not all app categories can boast the same degree of user retention. However, news apps manage to retain a double-digit retention rate, with 13.3% of users still accessing apps in the vertical a month after installation. As of March 2022, 8% of apps from the United States monetized by being paid apps, while only 3% of global apps monetized this way. Additionally, 24% of U.S. apps generated revenue by including ads. This is lower than the global average of 38% of apps including ads. In 2025, consumers are projected to download 187 billion mobile apps from the Google Play Store and 43 billion from Apple's App Store, up from 109 and 34 billion apps downloaded in 2020 respectively. With the ever-increasing number of consumers downloading and engaging with mobile apps on a daily basis, local news publishers face both opportunities and challenges when navigating the mobile marketplace.
All right. That was great. Some useful stats in there. Can you scroll down to those numbers again?
Absolutely.
What was it? Like 13% use it a month later? There's 3 graphs for each category, right?
Yeah, day 1, day 7, and day 30. So after a week, they're around 20% from the initial 30. And then by a month, they're still at 13.
Right. It looks like they sorted this list by like best 1-day follow-up. And so news is third best.
Yeah.
And then it's actually got really good week, above average week.
The only one that's around the 13% there at the 30-day mark is like finance and things. So definitely news and kind of like hard journalistic topics seem to be the ones that keep the longest retention.
Got it. Interesting. So there's like that long-term retention, but then there's also per session retention's higher.
You know, that goes right into what Kevin Slim talks about with print editions too, with news and hard news being the top things that should appear on your front page. That's what people want to see from his focus groups. That's what he found consistently every year, he says.
And yeah, the second point is the monetization methodologies that apps are using. So outlining the difference between paid apps and apps that include posting ads and stuff. And then, of course, yes, contrasting that with the larger global trends. We can focus on the US trends on those percentages just between the different categories of how they're monetizing things. But it is interesting to see kind of how that stacks up against the global market as well.
Yeah, basically we favor subscriptions and they favor ads.
And they kind of like lean more towards ads as you see the difference between the disposition between the US and the global market on. They're more comfortable, I think, with, or I would say maybe their audiences are more comfortable dealing with ad placement versus actually spending the money up front for the ad or maybe even a recurring subscription fee or something. They're much more tolerant or accepting of just viewing some ads to keep everything else free.
Right.
And then this last chart, of course, is just kind of tracking a global growth in mobile app downloads. Not only does it show kind of how the disposition is between the two app stores or the two mobile platforms, but it also shows that these numbers are just continuing to grow. As there's more devices, there's more innovation in how mobile apps are developed and what they can do. And this just keeps expanding the overall marketplace with which news publishers should definitely want to take part.
Today in News Tech, the podcast covering innovation in digital journalism.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast apps. We'll see you tomorrow.
At our hometown, we help newspapers build WordPress websites, design native apps, and develop digital subscription models. If you are interested in a free prototype of your publication on WordPress, go to ourhometown.com and click the Contact Us button.